All right, so I'm gonna just continue on the great work here, because that's what this is the great work. I started this path like pretty much around 2012 was the awakening that I had to the great work in the mystery schools, and going through the mystery schools, and then remembering having past lives in the mystery schools, and remembering being part of that lineage, which it's a lineage, and that obviously led me to finding the Illuminati, who are the Pythagorean Illuminati, but the word Illuminati is used as a misnomer if it is used in the context of explaining the elite dynastic families, Freemasons, neocons, all of the old world order. They are not the Illuminati. The Illuminati obviously are the enlightened ones, that are the organization in the secret society that have always been opposed to the old world order, which are the monarchies, democracies, and religions, that control the way that the world is. So that's actually been the secret war that's been being fought through the ages, is for the enslavement or freedom of humanity. And there are secret societies that are actually fighting this war, and the Illuminati is one of them. If not, it is the main one that is fighting against the elite. Have always been, and will always be, and will be responsible for the next revolution. So, I started out, because obviously in this journey, I have gone over this. I've, found the Illuminati, found out about the hero's journey, and, that being part of Gnosticism and illumination. And then, obviously my book ends in me finding the Illuminati and, accepting the hero's journey. And here I am now, 8 years later, after finding the Illuminati, in all of their work, the 273 books they've written, and they're actually writing more, and then they have a Patreon out, where they're just writing the truth and the most the most explained in fallible truth that there is. It's not infallible like the Word of God, like the Torah, Bible, and Quran, which they talk about in Abrahamism. Many people, many billions actually subscribe to those books being the infallible Word of God. You know what I'm saying? That explains reality and everything, which really has zero intellectual content in it. Those books do, which the Illuminati, point out, because they have analyzed every religion, very deeply, explain it in all of their writings, and then they explain illumination. So, which is the grand unified theory of everything. And I've been doing reading out of the first book, the Illuminati, that is explaining the history of the Illuminati and who the Illuminati actually are, what they stand for, and clearing all of that up, though, because countless of masses of people, when they hear the word Illuminati, they are immediately turned away from that word. That's why I even have to use Pythagorean Illuminati when I explain myself and who I am, because I'm Anthony Zender, I'm Illuminati. I'm definitely one of them, definitely one of the enlightened ones doing the great work, to free humanity by enlightening it to its divinity, which has been taken away. And it is like a Messiah role. That's why I'm understanding like what a Messiah is. I'm not a false prophet, or like what most people want recognition and stuff for being a Messiah. I could care two shits less. I just want to learn about being an enlightened one and what that means, and then bringing enlightened change into the world, like which is all what we want to do, we as the people, and we're looking for a way. You know what I'm saying? How the Illuminati definitely have the manifesto for that way, and that's actually what I'm going to get into is the next book, in the series, because I can go back to the Illuminati and start talking about the history, which I left off on the Gracchus brothers in Rome, that were died as martyrs being in the Illuminati, to overthrow the Roman Empire. That's the nature of what the Illuminati are in, is overthrowing governments and religions, that are oppressing. So that is definitely an impossible mission. That's why when I watch Mission Impossible and they show the IMF, the Impossible Mission Force, the Illuminati are the Impossible Mission Force. There is no doubt about that, because they have been fighting for a new world order, like and a new world order being a new political, a new religious, and new economic paradigm. Not what an old world order is, which is what they're already implementing on us to almost a maximum extent. That's old. It's not new. It's old. A new world order is them not enslaving us. You know what I'm saying? Putting all this GMO in our shit, fucking chemtrails everywhere. Just complete enslavement of humanity. That's not new. That's old. And something new is the freedom from that. And that this is part of the Armageddon conspiracy, because you mention the word New World Order to anyone, conspiracy theorists, all that stuff, they will immediately think of the enslavement, bad whole thing, which is keeping people from actually knowing what a New World Order is, which is a Star Trek civilization. So New World Order equals Star Trek civilization, meritocracy, social national capitalism, and illumination. Obviously with the social national capitalism being, a 1% can't have all the money, and it's meritocratically handled. So the Illuminati have a manifesto for all of this, about how it can come to be about, and how it actually is inevitably come to be. But the more people that know about this, the faster that it's going to come. That's the whole thing. That's the whole mission. That's why I'm so emphatic on getting this information out, and it is the most important information, because this is the key to our future. So I'm just going to read off the, with this book, they always write a synopsis of the book, and then I'm going to go into the book. So, what do the Illuminati stand for? What are their social, political, and religious objectives? What are the obstacles that stand in the way of humanity fulfilling its divine potential and creating a community of gods? The book provides an outline of the Illuminati's manifesto for changing the world. It's a simple fact that the Enlightenment failed. Only about 20% of the contemporary world is rational. The Enlightenment freed a group of intellectuals, scientists and technologists in particular, from the superstitious beliefs and traditions of the past, and capitalism harnessed their advance, thinking to create immense profits for the ruling elite. It's so funny because I can't even read like synopsises without talking about what they're talking about, because I've been going through it for 8 years now, so I can have output on what I'm reading. But it's like they're talking about, changing the world, and the simple fact that the Enlightenment failed. We all know about the Enlightenment periods of time, but it failed because it was stamped out by the old world order. You know what I'm saying? That the powers that be, they stamped out any chance of light coming through. And that's even seen in Assassin's Creed too. So, it says 20% of the contemporary world is rational. That means 80% is not rational. Basically, they were able to harness capitalism, harness the advanced thinking to create immense profits for the ruling elite. Like all the Enlightenment ideas, the elite stole. You know what I'm saying? And used. So that's and they're obviously controlling the Enlightenment through the old world order, through religions, through politics, and through and religion, politics, and religion, politics, and economics. The vast majority of humanity remains stuck in the past. Look at third world countries and the Islamic nations to see what pre-Enlightenment humanity is like. Religion divides such societies. They are irrational, hostile to knowledge, always on their knees to their God. They despise freedom and modernity. And that's pointing out, looking at the Islamic world, it's very clear that there's no enlightenment going on there. They're stuck in the past. And that's because the religion there stops that from happening. So it's definitely time to wake up and free ourselves from these things, which will be the enlightenment. To let go of them and find something new, which the Illuminati are definitely providing. And it's going to be a task because the people have to read. You know what I'm saying? To get to this knowledge, to get to the Grail, like you have to read. And I'm reading it and I'm also explaining it too. And my whole life has been about being able to explain illumination and finding the Grail through illumination. And which is hypothesis is involved in that. Hypothesis is becoming divine. So it's a real. I'm experiencing that this is a real thing that you go through. You know what I'm saying? Through the secret society. This is knowledge that is kept by the secret societies, and the Illuminati are one that are not keeping it secret because they came out with this work. And unless you know it's them, you're not going to know. So that's why I'm endeavored to bring light to their work. The Illuminati were at the forefront of the first Enlightenment, and now they are calling for a second Enlightenment that completes the job and rescues the 80% of humanity trapped in the past, dominated by long-dead bearded prophets who control them from the grave. There can be no free, rational world, no society of the divine, until Abrahamism, the religion of Jews, Christians, and Muslims, is obliterated. The absurd concept of karma that dominates Eastern religions, thinking, and philosophy must be similarly consigned to oblivion. And this is why the Illuminati are controversial, because they are straight up with what needs to happen, and they explain why. And they were at the first in front of Enlightenment, and they are obviously calling for a second Enlightenment to free the 80% of irrational people in the world. And this is definitely a mission, this we are on. And talks about humanity trapped in the past by long dead bearded prophets who control them from the grave. So it's like you do have to laugh though, because I was religious, and if I read this before and I was ready, I would have took offense to that. You know what I'm saying? But then when you think about it, you think about it, and people are still, the prophets are still revered over, you know what I'm saying? And they were like alive 2,000 years ago, and it's like they definitely didn't have the knowledge that we have now, because they're 2,000, like from 2,000 years ago. So they're definitely old dead bearded prophets controlling people from the grave, which actually is called, the Illuminati have a term for that. I forgot what it is, like ruling from the grave. There's actually a term that they brought out, but I can't remember everything. Necromancy or something like that. Like it's brilliant, because there's terms that everything I've never heard from it, but before reading the Enlightened ones. And I even bring out these terms among people, and they catch on to them. They don't know where they're coming from, but they're things that I learned from the Illuminati. So the third element holding back human progress is the existence of the super rich privileged elites. These people aren't just masters of accumulating wealth, they are also experts at controlling your thinking. If there are a small number of the hyper-rich and enormous people of poor, the natural outcome is for the poor to use their overwhelming numbers to take the riches of the elite, violently if necessary, and distribute them amongst themselves. Why don't they? Because the elite subject them to mind control, to conditioning and brainwashing. The elite control the education system, the media, the political discourse, and they use these to shape your thoughts, to determine how and what you think. So it's just like, this is the Illuminati, and they know what's going on, and that's why they're saying here, the third element holding us back is the rich privileged elites that mind control us, and that know what they're doing, but they talk about how the only way to take them over is an overwhelming number of people overtaking them, which has happened before, but they control us. But why don't we revolt? Because we're mind control. So they control the education system, the media, the political discourse, and they actually do have technologies that shape our thoughts, like through what are actually known as targeted individuals. I'm one of the targeted individuals. People that are threats to the system are targeted individuals. So they use weaponry and different tactics, gang stalking. There's an operation going on against threats. Even if they don't even know that they're threats, they are targeted. And I know that I'm a threat, because I'm like disclosing the existence of the elite. Like, that's my whole purpose, is to bring light to their existence, so that humanity can awaken, and then we can demand something new, other than the control that's been on us. And I have been doing this for lifetimes. I know this. My soul knows this. There's no question about this. I know about reincarnation. I've covered it many times, and that's why I'm tired of people not being awake and free and knowing what's going on, which is this created simulation that's around us, because they are so advanced right now, and we're not getting any of that. You know, just like Elysium, they had space stations, everybody's living like good and lavish, and we are down here on the wasteland. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going to become more apparent as humanity awakens, and people, lights in the world, are giving this enlightenment out. Given the hatred of America towards communism, you would imagine that the Americans must be the world's greatest experts on the words of Karl Marx. After all, it would be ridiculous to hate something of which you are entirely ignorant. Yet it turns out most Americans have never read one word of Marx. They hate communism because their capitalist elite, those who would lose everything in a communist state, have relentlessly indoctrinated them. The American people are like Pavlov's dogs. They have been conditioned to hold the beliefs most favorable to Wall Street. And like, there's a reason why the Illuminati's books got banned by the Vatican, and they're actually banned by Amazon right now. Because the powers that be don't want this book getting out. And you know, it talks about communism here, but it's because you know, not saying that communism is good, because it's not good. It was a way to try to run things, which actually the main thing was like, you know, doctors would be getting paid as much as janitors, you know, which just doesn't work out though. And that's actually what a meritocracy changes though, because by merit you do get paid, you know, you do earn more, and by how much you demonstrate merit. And there's a cap on how much people can make, because that 1% getting everything is cut off though. So that's how it has to be, and how it's going to be in the future. The Illuminati stand for education, knowledge, reason, free thinking, for understanding something before you hate it, rather than just moving straight to the hating stage via the mind control of the elite. All of the levers of control of the elite, financially, politically, and religiously, are extremely well understood. It's now time for the ordinary people to learn the secrets of those levers and free themselves from the control of the power of the elite. And that's what it's doing. That's what they're doing, is they're freeing people financially, politically, and religiously through the knowledge that they're giving. And I have definitely attained some freedom through knowing this knowledge. And so the Illuminati's Manifesto is the formula for freedom. Isn't it time for a liberated, rational world where everyone has an equal chance in life? The second war of the Enlightenment is coming. It's time to choose sides. You are called as a soldier to the most noble of undertakings. Yeah, and this is what's real though. This is definitely not like fake, like, you know, making stuff up like, oh, I'm Illuminati, you know, I'm this, I'm that. Like, it's a real thing, like, going on, the secret war going on, and like what side you're gonna be on, like what side you're taking, conservative, liberals, you know, Democrats, Republicans, like, you know, different groups that there are now, like, you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, the LGBTQ, like all the religions, like the groups are just like, everybody's in different groups, and you know, it's gonna be like, it's gonna come down to it, you know, like who is the most powerful group, and who's right, you know, and you know, choosing side is gonna lead, you know, to obviously you know, war and fighting between people. But the Illuminati are actually the third way. They're the third way, not between sides. And that's why they're bringing out their work though, because they know about what's happening, and they know about when everything falls. That is actually when they're going to be known about, and then people are going to be like, we want the Illuminati's way, and then that's when it's going to happen, and that's what the elite fear the most from happening, is people wanting a new world order and wanting the Illuminati's way of having it, which is going to happen because the elite are going to destroy themselves. You know, that's their demise. You know, we don't even have to do anything. They're going to destroy themselves. And then once they do, that's when we come uprise like the phoenix, and then implement a new system, which the Illuminati are going to be responsible for implementing, and it is going to be a Star Trek society, and this is definitely what the future is. So I'll go for 30 minutes on this. I'll read the first section of this. So the Great Enlightenment War. The Enlightenment, the age of reason, scientific progress, and new political thinking, did not free the human race from the unreason, superstition, and injustices of the past. Only a small number of people, scientists and artists in particular, truly gained meaningful freedom. But apart from in France, the old tyrannical monarchies did not fall. The Abrahamic religions were not swept away. For most people, the Enlightenment didn't happen. It still hasn't happened. Billions of human beings alive today reject evolutionary theory. They accept ancient religious revelation as more important and true than the scientific method, which has delivered all of the improvements in human living standards. Where reason, science, and education do not prevail in the world, the people are invariably backward and live in extreme poverty. Such people are usually extremely religious and may be devout Christians or Muslims. Hasn't religion done a single thing to help them and improve them and their quality of lives? Religion has in fact accomplished nothing for these people, yet they continue to believe and to reject reason and science. It reveals the extent of the failure of the Enlightenment that irrational superstitions continue to be more important to the vast majority of human beings than mathematics, science, philosophy, and psychology. Moreover, in an advanced nation like the UK, many millions continue to revere the Queen, an unelected, unaccountable, unmeritocratic representative of monarchy, a tyrannical institution of the past that oppressed the ordinary people and created permanent dynastic elites. Why do Britons choose to define themselves as someone's subjects? Do they have no dignity, self-respect, and lust for freedom? Why do they allow themselves to be called commoners, inferior to the ruling elite? This is the 21st century, and yet even the people of modern states are trapped in ancient delusions and superstitions. The millions of Britons who worship the Queen are practically retarded. They certainly form no part of the enlightened world. No enlightened person would ever endure the rule of any kind of monarch, or attribute any special powers or status to a particular family. Millions of people across the world gave their lives to overthrow hereditary rule, yet the UK embraces it and celebrates it. It forms a core part of the identity of millions of Britons, i.e., they are willing to regard themselves as the slaves of a particular family to which the label royal is attached. If they were rational, they would overthrow the monarchy tomorrow. But the UK is not a nation of reason. It's a conservative, old-fashioned, sentimental, nostalgic nation living in the past and infected with every kind of superstition. So a second enlightenment is required. In this time, its purpose shouldn't be to liberate a few clever free thinkers, but to unshackle the whole of humanity. This time, the Enlightenment can't be allowed to stop until everyone is free and humanity is finally rid of the insane beliefs and practices of ancient times. A number of the great dialectical struggles must be won before humanity can proceed to the next stage of its divine evolution. The most enlightened among us must overcome the most endarkened. Here are all the victories that must be won. So, it's talking about the Great Enlightenment War and what's really going on, which actually is definitely shown in Assassin's Creed, and the whole thing is about, UK people in UK are, supporting monarchies, calling themselves, subjects and stuff like that. It being a nostalgic, thing where the royal family, supporting the royal family, it's a big thing for the wedding and stuff. Who gives a fuck about that shit? Like, the reason why it's still going is because people are living in that support of the monarchy, which is enslaving them. Talking about, the people that worship the queen and stuff, not good. Queen's not good. The royal family's not good. Second Enlightenment being about, being more than freeing a few clever free thinkers, actually freeing the world, because the last Enlightenment, they stamped that out. They've always been able to do it, but and that's what they've been. Their whole operation is stopping the second coming, or the second Enlightenment. The definitely the next Enlightenment. And you're either going to be free or you're going to be a slave, or ignavi. So. They talk about the victories that have to be won in order for us to be free. So everything that has to be addressed in order for the freedom of humanity to happen. So it's like, I'm learning in life right now, when problems are happen, they have to be addressed. They have to be understood and figured out, and then there has to be a solution for them. And the Illuminati, they have the solution for every problem explained out. So there's a lot, what I'm saying, to get through, what I'm saying. But there are actually ones that have already got through it, that are calling, call to adventure to people in the world of common day. Just like the Nebuchadnezzar did to Neo in the Matrix. It was a call from outside of the Matrix, to into the real reality, which is the same thing that the Illuminati are doing to people in this world. You know what I'm saying? Because we're in a fight for our freedom, and we have our friends in higher places, and the enlightened ones are definitely them. So, all right, till next time.